In September 2021, we at XBHP had a chance to take some of the world's fastest machines on the high-speed track at NATRAX in India. And then we spoke to some key people behind this massive project. You can watch us pilot the choicest of machines on planet Earth on the high-speed track at NATRAX in more videos. Keep an eye on the XBHP and Motographer pages. Alright guys, welcome to another episode of XBHP Talks, and right now I'm in a very special place. In fact, this is the ground zero as far as speed is concerned in India and in Asia. Right now I'm at the high-speed track, which is the largest of its kind in India and in Asia, and one of the largest in the world. This is a very proud moment for all of us, because finally the jewel of the NATRAX, which has many other tracks, has been launched 3-4 months ago. And I'm here with Dr. N. Karupaya, who is the center head and the additional director, who's managing this behemoth of a project and has actually seen through from the start till the end, where we are able to test our high-speed cars or motorcycles to the max. So sir, welcome, and thank you so much for taking me for a drive on this absolutely amazing piece of civil engineering, which we could not have imagined a few years ago. So to start with, sir, how would you describe NATRAX, especially the high-speed track? Let's say, what does it mean for India?
Yeah, that, as you rightly said, this is the Asia's largest proving ground, and in which where we are traveling is the Asia's the fastest or longest high-speed track. And of course, this project was conceived by the government of India under the automotive mission plan, where the mission was to enable India to, or the Indian automotive industry to grow as a global automotive player. And that is how government conceived that we should have one center in the north and one center in the south and one center in the, of course, in the west, in order to take our respective auto hubs. And also the NATRAX project was conceived in the central part of the country, for which we are grateful to government of Madhya Pradesh, who gave us 3,000 acres of land. So this is primarily to meet the developmental test requirements of the Indian automotive industry.
Have you been associated with the NATRAX since the beginning?
Of course, I had the privilege to be associated right from the beginning of this project. When the design was executed by the consultant, I had associated with that, and then we had prepared the tender documents, and then we finalized the contractor, and then I moved on to this place to coordinate with let's say construction activities and all that. We also faced a lot of challenges, starting from technical, contractual, administrative and all that. And of course, we had the support of district administration to solve certain administrative issues, like we had to shift a district road, then water pipeline was to be shifted, the power lines were to be shifted, rehabilitation of a village. All these challenges we had to undergo. And of course, there was, as I said, there were some setbacks, and of course at the end of the day it gives satisfaction to all of us that we have been able to achieve this prestigious project to fruition.
How does it feel for you to have invested so many years of your life, and finally it's like actually seeing a baby grow in front of your eyes? So how do you feel emotionally about this?
Yeah, it means a lot to me, like it's like a dream coming true. It needed a lot of perseverance, grit and determination to see it through despite the setbacks and the challenges what we faced. And at the end of the day, it really gives a lot of satisfaction and pride for having achieved this project completely and successfully.
People who are watching, there are actually a lot of other tracks other than the high-speed track which comprise the NATRAX facility. But after the launch of the high-speed track, this actually came into our view. It piqued the interest of petrol heads like us who have fast cars and bikes, that finally, we can actually take these kind of machines to their top speeds legally. So my next question to you, sir, is that although this is meant to be a testing track primarily, are you also looking to make it into place where petrol heads, people with these kind of machines, they can come probably in events or to max out their machines, which would actually also probably help in changing the image of India, the kind of machines and kind of lifestyle that India has in the automotive genre?
Well, I put it this way that there are three categories of application in the sense that primarily it was meant for testing the vehicles developed by the OEMs, and also to serve the tire manufacturers for validating the products and all that. And the second category is like people like you, where you really couldn't test vehicles beyond 300 kilometers per hour, and this is a perfect opportunity or a beautiful opportunity for you to benchmark vehicles and serve your customers. And the third category, we ever since this created a buzz, there are a lot of inquiries coming from the sports enthusiasts across the country, and also the high-end, the vehicle owners, who wants to have or enjoy or the experience, the thrill of driving at such high speeds. Yes, we have been getting requests from them.
Do you see that Indore can probably become the hub for not only automotive testing, but also for automotive media and automotive manufacturing?
Absolutely. In fact, Pithampur is already auto cluster in the sense, with manufacturers like Volvo, Eicher, or Force Motors or Mahindra two-wheelers. And with this facility coming up, and we expect, any new, let's say, any manufacturer wants to set up a new plant, we expect them to set up near Pithampur, so that, it gives a natural advantage of closer to the proving ground, especially the media, and they can really come here because it gives them a number of opportunities, to test the vehicles both subjectively and objectively in the variety of test tracks what we have, so that you can really benchmark and rate the vehicles beautifully. And of course, as far as better how to do the subjective evaluation of all these tracks, but then from NATRAX side, we can also complement you in objective evaluation of vehicle dynamic parameters, like especially on ride and handling and all that, And of course, one thing I would also like to mention, this proving ground, the NATRAX, what we have is going to be the vehicle dynamic test engineers paradise, So that way everybody would love to come and get the vehicle tested and evaluated to the limits.
I can see the love in your eyes and the feeling of pride. I mean, in fact, this is an immense matter of pride for us because as auto journalists, and like we have done 65 countries by road on motorcycles, we meet a lot of people from other countries, and now we have we can tell them that you guys can come here and do your testing here, because the one common thing which people have to say about India is the roads. So now we have the answer. The answer is the NATRAX as a whole, and of course the high-speed testing track where we are right now. So sir, do you feel that there is still a long road ahead? I mean, pun intended. But I mean, for this to actually make a mark on the global automotive scenario.
So the Indian OEMs, now especially with a lot of road network coming across the country, high-speed network, and with the high-speed track available, I'm sure the OEMs will be able to produce high-speed cars in future. Having said that, now you talked about the existing multinationals, so who at the moment, only do, let's say, some of them do, let's say, assemble and manufacture and all that, and some of them, of course, do the CAE analysis. And of course, now we don't expect them to change overnight to set up the manufacturing or the design or manufacturing plant in the sense that do the entire development out here. But yes, it will evolve. It will take its own time for them also to start the developmental activities and to produce high-end cars right in the country.
What's the most challenging part of the high-speed track?
Construct this parabolic curve, we had to have special machinery from abroad. We had to have a parabolic sensor paver and all that.
Right.
And not only that, I would say the most challenging is the transition portion of the curve. The curve which connects the straight portion to the parabolic curve, in terms of, there's a variation across 3 dimensions. And you must have felt, it gives you a seamless drive. You won't really feel that you're connecting through a transition. So it has been so nicely designed that it gives you a sense of comfortable and safe driving. And of course, with this in place, you are able to travel on and on, even at high speeds over 300 kilometers per hour. Also, it gives an infinite loop. And not only that, especially the evenness what you see out here, it's about plus minus 3 mm on the straight. And of course, another challenge what we had was, the straight track has to be absolutely level, 0% gradient. But the topography of the land what we had was, there was an altitude difference of 20 meters from one end to another. So that is how you see one side of the curve, one curve, we have a deep cut up to 13 meters, and the other curve, we have an embankment up to 7 meters.
So you can see how steep this is. What is the inclines are here?
So the max incline, where it has been designed for a neutral speed of 250 kilometers per hour is 26 degrees, right? This, I would say, this is less steep as compared to the international proving grounds, which has a 250 neutral speed, because they don't have the advantage of a larger radius of curvature. Since we have the larger radius of curvature, so that advantage we have with a less steep curve, we are able to achieve such high speeds on the curves.
So if I'm not wrong, the radius is 1 kilometer?
1 kilometer, that's right.
That is a huge radius. I mean, guys, this is 11.3 kilometers long, and we have 2 straights.
Yes. We call them, like northern straight, southern straight of 2.1 kilometer each. And the curve portion, what you see, is of 2.66 kilometers, connected by the transition of 4 transition of about 500 meter length,
What about, quickly, about the other tracks?
14 varieties of test tracks for comprehensive testing and evaluation of any automotive performance, you name it. And of course, we can categorize them into 3 categories. One is to evaluate the safety parameters. For example, the brake, the steering effort, the running circle diameter, or the, let's say, the speed odometer calibration and things like that. And also, the environmental emission like the pass-by noise. These are all the safety related tests. And the second category is the high performance related tests, like for example, the max speed, acceleration, gradability, or the fuel consumption, or let's say the on-center handling, or high speed handling and stability. So the third category is for accelerated durability testing. We have the fatigue track where we have the Belgian pavé, the potholes, let's say the washboards, the twist track, and a mixture of torture tracks, in which you can do accelerated durability testing. These days the customers do not have the luxury of testing it on the roads for 2 years, 3 years, for 2 lakh, 3 lakh kilometers and all that. So that is how it can be done through an accelerated durability testing. So these are the 3 categories of testing for which these tracks have been designed for.
In the future, can we see a racing track also, like the Booth International Circuit?
As far as the max speed performance or acceleration performance, we have 2 tracks primarily meant for such evaluation. One is the high speed track, what you see here. And of course, we also have a handling track with different curves, with different radii of curvature to test, the high speed maneuverability or, the cornering capability of vehicles. And primarily, although these can be used for racing, but it's primarily not meant for racing. As far as handling track is concerned, it's like a mini Booth International Circuit. But of course, as I said, it was originally not designed to be a racing circuit. But of course, with some modifications and some infrastructure and facilities, it has a potential to grow. But at the moment, we are not thinking in terms of that.
So that hill is also part of, it's a test track.
That is the Bijasan Devi Mandir hill, which we have made a sustainability track. That sustainability track, we have made a hill track of 800 meters length with 8% slope, to simulate the hill driving conditions and also to test, let's say, the transmission performance or the retarder performance and things like that. As far as public is concerned, maybe once in a year, we will open up to the public, so that they get to know such a beautiful facilities available to this country. That's point number 1. But otherwise, for events and all that, so at the moment we are planning to open it up maybe on Saturdays, Sundays. So that is how you can conduct events. Of course, we have to keep both safety and confidentiality. That there's no compromise on that.
This is our jewel. This is Asia's jewel, and this is the 5th largest in the world. So yes, we have finally done it, and I'm so proud of it. And I want to thank Sir for not giving up, personally also for seeing through, because I believe that projects are not done, such projects are not done by machines, they are done by people. So thank you so much, sir, for investing so much of your energy and life in this.
Having created this world-class facility, now our next milestone will be to operate professionally, and of course we would like the industry to start utilizing it as much as possible.
But thank you so much, sir, for your time, and I think it's time to go to the next gentleman here. Now it's time to actually see how such a huge facility is managed. After all, it's a huge task. So for that, I have another gentleman. He's Mr. Sagar, Assistant Manager of Track Operations, and I'm here in one of the rooms, and you can see how things are going on. Mr. Sagar, sorry to disturb you. And guys, he's been there at it since 12 years, but we'll get to that. Right now, Mr. Sagar, how difficult or intricate is this whole management of such a kind of a proving ground, which is the largest in Asia?
So we have a dedicatedly made one facility called as a PGMS, called as a Proving Ground Management System. So whenever a customer want to book the facility, he can just simply log into our website and book for the different tracks. So after initial booking, he can directly come to the track, then he will be getting one RFID who will be accessible for his entry to the different tracks. And you can see on the screen the entire facility is being controlled or monitored by 150 cameras spread across 150 cameras, so spread across entire facility. So even we have visited the other proving grounds also in the global, but I can say that we are on the leading front, and so attempt for such facility on the confidential front or the different user front, so you need a spy eye on the each and every corner. It's almost 12 years, so I appreciate that statement, seeing as a 1.5 decade. So going front, but seeing this facility from the greenfield project, we call it as a greenfield project because it was initially bare land, which was now converted into the international test center. So it's a very nice experience for when we started. I started back almost 12 years. So being as a young engineer, it gives me a very thorough experience, which is very unique in terms of seeing this building of entire facility. As Dr. Karupaiya, and we have visited various proving grounds, and we have seen what are the uniqueness of their proving grounds and how the Indian automobile industry can expect. Because before constructing of this facility, major OEM has to go to abroad for, you said, high-speed track testing. So there was no track available in India to go for the max speed of, let's say, 250 kmph. So Government of India come up with a very nice initiative that entire vehicle development has to be completed in India. So we used to discuss is vehicle development ke liye where we have to go. Then we need to find the facility on the global front. We need to take the bookings and see on the testing per se, it seems to be very easier front, but it's when it's come for the development testing. So it's not the testing that during the development testing the product fails, the part fails, then importing back that part from India to there, replace it and again continue for the testing. It's very cumbersome process. But now the development time has been drastically reduced. And being this center as a one-point solution, because initially we thought only for the development, but now we will be giving the homologation perspective and the certification also. So you can think as a OEM, you can think that you want to make a vehicle, come here, do entire development testing, you yourself get satisfied, then submit the vehicle for the homologation testing, and we can conduct the specific requirement which we are able to conduct. So we have now entering into new avenues also. Now initially it was vehicle testing, but now we are thinking about the crash barrier testing. So since 2 years we have completed almost 40 crash barrier tests. So in India we are the only company who are doing the crash barrier testing. Then we will be entering to the construction equipment testing also. Then we will be entering to the electric vehicle testing also. So there are different avenues. Now I can see that abroad OEMs will be more interested to come in India. Say let's say if they want to sell the product in India, they have to develop product in India. So that concept will be 100% there in next 5 years.
I mean, it's a statement from India to the world that we have arrived. This is the kind of commitment it takes to build a project of this size. Thank you so much, Mr. Sagar.
Thank you. I appreciate and all the best for your efforts for the team, and you are doing great job for evaluating two-wheeler evaluations, which has been not done so far. And I must say that you will need to frequently come for testing to us.
There is a lot of research and development which actually goes behind maintaining
this kind of facility, which is the only one in India. And for that, I also want you to get introduced to Mr. Srihari here. He is the assistant manager here for development and research, and then some more. So you have been in NATRAX for more than a decade.
Yes.
How does that feel to you as an individual to be so committed?
First of all, thank you very much for coming here. Absolute pleasure to have you and to experience this particular track, which is meant for such superbikes and all the participants. And we got an opportunity to execute that in India, and everybody just jumped on it and said, yes, we are going to do it. And having said that, it's not easy to come up with such a wide variety of tracks. And the length, the technicalities involved, and everything is on a very large scale. We are just at one corner of the entire 11.3 kilometers, and we are exactly standing on the southern section, and which has a transition towards the parabola. Wow. So this side is the straight, as you can see, and if you turn around, that's the parabola. That's the eastern parabola. So basically, this entire 11.3 kilometers and 16 meter wide is something that you don't get anywhere. On the technicalities front, as you can see, this track is absolutely flat, and you have the transitions and the banking there. So at one place, we have the test track is above the ground, and one place the test track is below the ground. So this is a unique feature once again. Being a part of it, we don't feel that it's so big, but then coming from people like you who are actual enthusiasts who know what it is, so it is a big, it's a huge bonus for us. Booster for us.
Companies like BMW, Mercedes, they can also shift or like make their own turnkey facilities here.
That is the target. That is the target. So that's what we are looking for. It should not be like we should move from the consumers to developers to manufacturers. So that's the main key.
So this land is I came to know was given by the Madhya Pradesh government. So was there a choice?
First of all, considering the location. We are in central India, so we just want to have more or less a uniform approach from all the north, south, east, west of India. That's one thing. Secondly, you need to have good connectivity, which we have Bhopal and Pune and Mumbai, which being the automotive hub, it will be closer. And thirdly, this so much availability of land was also the main point. So we have sufficient flat land, and we utilized it.
Straights are rated at maximum 375 kilometers an hour. And what does that actually mean?
We can achieve 250 kilometers in neutral speed condition. Above that, we have rated it as 375, but we haven't actually physically tested it at that level.
So what does neutral speed condition mean?
So neutral speed is basically, you will not, once you're on the surface, once you're driving it at that particular speed, and if you stick to one particular lane, you don't need to give any external steering inputs. If the vehicle is designed correctly, it's going to stick its lane without giving any external inputs at that speed. That is for the parabola. So we have different speed ratings for different lanes. So it's going to maintain that particular speed capacity. If you're in that speed capacity, the vehicle is not going to move from its position.
So we have 4 lanes.
Yes.
This one is the flattest all the way throughout.
Yeah, that's the inner lane. Lane 1, lane 2, lane 3 and lane 4.
Okay, so this one is rated at how much?
That is top speed is 80 kilometers.
Okay, this one?
This is at around 120. This is 180 and then 220 plus. Up to 220, that is 220 plus.
If somebody wants to come here, there are of course a lot of checks they want to, make sure that the machines are in order, the tires are in order. What about the driver mindset? When you are driving so fast.
One thing is, it's not like you just sit in, hop in, and then go for a drive. It's not like that. So first off, you need to understand the machine. You know what it's capable of, what are its maximum possibilities. You should know what feedback is going to do what for that particular machine. If you're on a test track, and then if you're on a controlled condition, you'll not know the actual difference between if you're traveling at 80 kilometers or 200 kilometers, because it's uniform. Unless the window is open, you'll not know at what speeds you're going. And human mind is done in such a way that it cannot take the input or feedback at that high speeds. So human body is designed to be at around 40-50 kilometers max.
So something I realized while I was riding on the S2, which is something called the tunnel vision, like you said. In that, there were some places on the parabola where there was, it was kind of elevated, there was no tree, nothing, only clouds visible. At that moment, I thought that everything is standing still, because there was no reference. Because I wasn't looking down at these markers, the road markers, the lines. So nothing was moving, actually. So it was such a surreal experience. I can't tell you, it's, I can't even capture in the camera, unfortunately. But of course, we have captured the speeds. So, Mr. Srihari, thank you so much. Do you want to add anything before the sun sets?
Thing is, the government of India have provided an opportunity for all the OEMs and all the drivers to come and experience the facility. So this will only ensure that India will be on the world level, if not better, on the automotive front, and which will enable us to know where we stand exactly in the world.